Hello, welcome to my review of Halloween. Now, because we're in the Halloween spirit and I have not seen some of the classic Halloween style movies, I wanted to take this time to let you know my thoughts on Halloween. I had not seen this movie before this point. I had only really dabbled in the horror genre, but this is my first introduction to something like this, something nostalgic for a lot of people, something that is considered a classic horror movie. I just finished it. Actually, no, I just got out of the shower, but before that, I just finished it. Number one, I think the iconic main theme of this movie is, yes, it is iconic, but I think it's a little overplayed. Like, every 5 seconds they play the I think it's a bit overplayed. The first, 20 minutes or so is very tedious. It's pretty much just the killer, following Laurie around in a car. And I would say the first half of the whole movie is, super unproductive in terms of progressing the story. The movie doesn't really kick off until Michael Myers comes to, what's her name? Oh, Annie's house. It doesn't really start until he comes to Annie's house. So the first half of the movie ends up feeling very slow and unproductive and blah. One thing I would say right off the bat that I noticed when Laurie was interacting with Michael Myers is when she answered the phone, she heard breathing over the phone. And I know that's a very, very big cliche in the horror genre. Someone picks up the phone, they hear someone on the phone, they're not saying anything, they're just breathing. And I'm wondering if that cliche started with this movie, because it seemed very reminiscent of other movies and very derivative of other movies. But this might actually be the first one to actually do that. I watched this movie with ads because I'm poor and I can't afford to buy the actual movie. And right when Michael Myers stabbed the dog, an ad played.
Want a break from the ads? If you tap now to watch a short video, you'll receive 30 minutes of ad-free music.
For this taking place in such a big neighborhood, I don't understand why there's no kids walking around the streets during Halloween night. This is the biggest night of the year for some kids. They get to eat their candy, they get to do their thing, but the whole movie, there's no one walking around, no one's active in the neighborhood besides the 3 houses where it takes place. I would say the movie does a good job at making you question when the killer's gonna strike, because the killer has a lot of opportunities to kill Annie, but he doesn't, and he waits it out and he plays the long game. I would say the most gruesome kill of the whole movie was when the boyfriend died. He just got stabbed against the wall, and then he hung from the wall. He stayed up there. The way the shot was set up, he was stabbed, and then I thought his body was just gonna drop, but then he just stays there, and I was like, oh. One thing I really appreciated about this movie is that the location of the movie stays within the same 3 houses, which 2 of them are right next to each other, so pretty much the same 2 locations. It's Annie's house, Laurie's house, and the Myers house. All 3 locations are the same locations the entire movie. So I really appreciate when a movie is able to have you understand the geography of where everything is at. I noticed that the film early on, and I kind of picked up on this before they even paid it off, but I noticed that the film establishes early on that Laurie is extremely smart, and she's smarter than other girls, which is what Annie says to her, saying that oh, you don't get any guys because you're too smart. But I noticed that that's what they mentioned about her, and later on it actually is paid off, because she's the only one that survives out of all the different teenagers, because she's the smartest among them, and she's able to outmaneuver and outwit the killer. In the climax, when she walks through the door, all of the bodies appear to her in a different way. One falls from the ceiling, one is in the closet and stuff, of the previous kills of Michael Myers, all of the different teenagers that he killed along the way. like Laurie confronts all of those bodies, which I thought was really interesting. That like as they were getting picked off, she didn't really notice anything, but then during the climax when she has to confront Michael Myers, all of them appear to her in one like swoop. Throughout the whole movie, Laurie was the only one who wasn't concerned with like making out with guys, drinking, partying, having fun, etc., etc., etc. She was the only one that was willing to prioritize her babysitting gig on Halloween night over partying and doing stuff like regular teenagers would do. Annie, she literally gives up her kid that she's meant to babysit to Laurie just so she can go like hang out with her boyfriend. Like everyone else is prioritizing what they want to do, but Laurie's the only one that is actually protecting the children, and that's why she ended up surviving at the end, because she was more concerned about protecting her children that she is meant to protect over like, oh, I'm just gonna run away and abandon them, or oh, I just want to like find Peter or whoever her crush's name was. Now, I think the most useless character in this entire movie was the doctor. Like early on, you see the doctor talk about how he's like, oh, he's a mentally insane man who is on the loose now is gonna kill people, but like that's the only thing we learn about him, is that he's the doctor of Michael Myers. And then the whole movie he's just standing outside the Myers house like waiting for Michael Myers to show up, and he never does. So then I feel like his only purpose in the entire movie was just to clutch up at the end and like shoot Michael and save Laurie at the very end. But I feel like he didn't really serve a purpose except to do that. And I honestly think it would have made it better if Laurie was the one to like deal the final blow, because she was the one that earned it throughout the whole story. And the ending was very, very, very rushed. Like literally pop, the doctor shoots Michael Myers, he falls out the window, and then they look out the window and then he's not there, and then like they roll credits.
Bruh.
Do something more, like show the aftermath of what happened, and like when the police come and stuff. Like don't just end it, like you can end it ambiguously with like, is Michael Myers alive, he escaped, but don't just end it there. Like maybe like tease something for a later movie, which they have a bunch of movies. And if you're wondering, no, I am not going to watch all of the Halloween movies, at least not now, because there are way too many to watch, like, and there are way too many that I've heard are actually like crap. So I'm not gonna watch the Halloween movies unless you really want me to. Yeah, so I mean, the ending was kind of trash, I'm not even gonna lie. Overall though, I think this was a solid movie. I can see why it's such a classic among horror fans. I would give this a solid like 7 out of 10. I really enjoyed it, but it's not, there are a lot of things they could have worked on. Yes, those are my thoughts, and I want to know yours in the comments below. And please like this video and share it with someone if you enjoyed it. Yeah, that's all I have to say, so goodbye.